All right, I mean, our name is the Footballogists, right? So this is really the perfect type of thing we've got to talk about, this new CBA. And it's really looks like it's going to be the owners going up against the players. Now, the owners seem to have all the power. They've got all the money. They're the ones who look like they should be calling the shots. But it looks like there are some big name players who have an issue. Now, real quick, what is the new CBA? It's a 10-year agreement, and there are some big time changes. I mean, like things that are going to make the NFL a different type of game. Now, the actual rules, how you play on the field, no, that's not going anywhere. But the amount of games per season, the amount of teams per playoffs, this is a major, major deal. They're saying they want 17 games in the regular season. They want 14 teams in the playoffs, 7 per conference. In the first week of the playoffs, you'd have one team only with a bye. So only the first seed gets a bye. And then you have 6 other teams playing against each other in each conference. This would mean about half of the league is making the playoffs. Now, that's gotten some, varied opinions on it. I don't entirely know how I feel. Honestly, when I first saw the CBA and I think the owners agreed on it almost unanimously as far as I've heard, I wasn't real sure what to think about it. Obviously, as a fan, I want more football because, well, it's nice. I mean, I would rather have 17 regular season games than 16 regular season games and 4 preseason games because, as we all know, preseason is unbearable and unwatchable. Though the more nerdy I get, the more I get into covering the Broncos in detail. I actually kind of enjoy the preseason games, but don't tell anyone that. I'm very sure Joe Rolls over at MileHighReport.com and guys like him absolutely adore preseason. But anyway, so this came out. The owners agreed on it. 17 games in the regular season, 14 teams in the postseason. Those are the biggest changes. There are a few others, but those are the biggest. Now, there's also issues with, the money share. Right now, it's something like, 46, 47%. Might move up to 48%. The players, like Eric Weddle, came out on Twitter and said he wants it at 50%. Now, who are the guys in the NFL that you're really looking to for answers? The guys that the owners, the media, everyone looks to and you really respect when they say something. Kind of like Mike Trout in baseball. Mike Trout just came out against the Houston Astros, and the entire baseball world was like, what? Because the dude doesn't say anything. He's totally respectable. He's totally chill. And so when he actually says something, when he comes out and says, yeah, the Astros really, mucked this up and deserve to be punished, the world pays attention. And there are a few guys like that in the NFL. Now, Richard Sherman came out in defense of one of these guys or backing up one of these guys and saying, yep, leadership needs to say this isn't going to happen. Now, Richard Sherman, take him as you will, probably on the edge at least of a Hall of Fame, probably in the Hall of Fame. Smart guy, not my most favorite player. Obviously, on that Seattle team that destroyed the Broncos back in the day. But he was backing up a guy that I respect more than just about anyone else in football. Now, if that's actually deserved, I don't know. I've never met him. I don't know him personally. As with all other athletes, we follow them on Twitter, on Facebook, on what they say post-game. How hard do they work? How do they play? Who are these guys? And the guy that really sticks out for me, there are a few of them, and actually 2 of them that don't play for the Broncos and that really stick out to me. And ironically, they play for the same team. One of them is quarterback Deshaun Watson. Love the guy. Just love the guy. I loved him since college. I think he's a leader. He's well-spoken. He's thoughtful. Good dude. Now, he didn't come out, as far as I know, and say anything about the CBA, but his teammate, perhaps the most well-known defensive player in the NFL right now, came out strongly against the new CBA. J.J. Watt on Twitter said, very shortly, quote, a hard no on that proposed CBA. That's all he said. That's end of the quote. One line. Simple, sweet. Didn't really give a reason. But you know what? If J.J. Watt doesn't like it, I don't like it. If J.J. Watt hates it, I hate it. Honestly, that's how I feel. I don't know the ins and outs of these things. Sure, you can read the CBA. You can say, hey, yeah, I see pros and cons. There always are. The owners want more money. That's simply it. And yeah, the players do too. But if these guys come out and say it's not a good CBA, it's not a good agreement, this is not worth their while, if J.J. Watt says that, I'm with him. Period. I trust the guy. Look at the things he's done for his city. Look at the things he's done for relief of the hurricane a few years ago in Houston. And he's just a stand-up guy. He's a guy I've liked, again, since college. And I trust him. Richard Sherman, lesser extent, but he's also there too. Eric Weddle, who recently retired, he's also against the CBA. Leonard Fournette, against the 17 games. And a lot of these guys appear to be against the 17th game. And we need to really sit back and think, should we be too? Now, we do want more NFL. We want more football. We want more games that matter. We don't want more preseason games unless you're nerds like Joe Rolls and occasionally me. But if the players are so against it, it's got to speak to something. It has to mean something. It has to mean there is a reason why we might not want this. These guys might start getting hurt more. Maybe they don't play as hard. Maybe they don't play as much. Maybe they don't play as long. You start to see these young retirements like Andrew Luck and many others. It's a hard game. It's a brutal game. 16 games a year is incredible. And you add another game onto it, and heck, you add a few more teams into the playoffs each year, and you're going to start to see a shorter shelf life for every single NFL player. Is it worth it for a few more games each year? It's questionable. I don't blame you if you feel that it is. But when guys like Eric Weddle, especially guys like J.J. Watt, come out and say they don't like it, I don't like it. And there's strong momentum right now that the players may push back and the majority may vote against this CBA. If that happens, they'll have to go back to the drawing board and we'll see what happens. Now, obviously, no one wants a strike like we've had before. We want to see full seasons of NFL. But we do need to think about this all the way through. Is it worth it, one more game? Do we actually want that? Is that actually going to make the NFL season better? Is 16 games not enough? Do we really need more teams in the playoffs? It's going to become a participation trophy in the playoffs. Participation. Now, yeah, I would have been very happy if the Broncos had made the playoffs last year with a 7-9 record. But you know what? If they go up and face the number one seed and get spanked, am I really going to be happy about that? Am I really going to be glad? Okay, not the number one seed. Excuse me, the number 2 seed. Number 1 seed would have a bye. Am I going to be happy about that? Am I going to be glad the Broncos got in? I don't think so. If my baby girl, who was just born 3 weeks ago, eventually grows up and becomes a runner, and she places in 6th, and they say, you know what? We're going to change it to all of the top 6 of the 10 runners are going to run in the semifinals. Yeah, sure. On the surface, it sounds great. But, when you start digging down to it, do we really need it? Do we? Is there really anything wrong with the NFL right now? The NFL owns America. It owns. Why change it? Why go and make something different? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So again, J.J. Watt, I'm with you, bro.